Hello everyone, it's Darren Tomke with Broadway Camera, BroadwayCamera.com, here to do a bit of a feature showcase on the ChromaCine V6. So the ChromaCine V6 is a 5.7-inch 1080p display. Now this monitor is something called 4K capable. Even though the screen itself is a 1080p display, being 4K capable is actually really important. If you're running with a camera like a GH5 that can output a really high quality 4K signal, it's the camera's job on a non-4K capable monitor to downsample the footage to 1080p before handing it off to the monitor. The problem with this is if the monitor is just accepting a 1080p signal and needs it to already be downscaled, and because the processing power of the camera is going a little bit to downscaling that 4K footage, the camera itself is actually going to lose some of the features you're used to. Usually it's something like autofocus performance or even autofocus features. So here's what you actually have inside the box. First off, you actually have the ChromaCine itself. It has 3 1/4-20 mounts on 3 sides, which gives you some options in terms of mounting it. On the last side, you have a 12-volt DC in and an 8-volt DC out, which is great because you'll be able to put a battery on the back and a dummy battery in your camera, which will allow the monitor to actually power your camera, and you'll be able to plug the monitor into the wall itself. Aside from that, you also have a sun hood, which is actually quite nice and bendable and goes on the Velcro. Next thing we have is a mini HDMI cable. That's what's included in the box, but if your camera doesn't go with that, you can swap it out for a different HDMI cable for whatever HDMI port your camera uses. It also comes with a mounting arm, which is really nice, solid metal. It has a cold shoe mount on the side of it, which is fantastic. That way, when the hot shoe is being taken up by the monitor itself, you'll be able to put a microphone in the cold shoe mount. Fantastic for vlogging, as well as being able to mount any other cold shoe accessories. Finally, you have a Sony MPF battery and a Sony MPF battery charger. The nice thing about Sony MPF batteries is that they're very universal and work on most monitors and quite a few types of lights as well. So you should be able to plug this onto the back or even get a larger battery if you'd like to see longer battery life with the monitor. So when you actually turn the unit on, you'll notice that there are 4 different function buttons on the top. Function buttons correspond to different things you can do with the monitor. So you can do everything from overexposure, false colors, different types of check fields, and focus assisting. Now what I really like is false color. The different colors on the screen here actually correspond to different exposure levels. What you can see on the right is you have different exposure levels listed. So you can actually use this to check your exposure without having to rely on your own vision. The colors are very clear as to where is exposed, where is overexposed, which is the red on the screen right now, and it's very easy to set your exposure and really nail it. Not only that, the actual latency in the unit is actually surprisingly good. A lot of monitors are really hard to get with low latency. It's currently only doing 1080p, so you will notice a slight increase in latency when you start recording 4K out of a camera, but honestly, any monitor you buy will have that. It's not something unique to this monitor. So who is this actually for? Well, first of all, the main one I'd say is vloggers. If you're running with anything from a Z6, an A7 III, an X-T3, any of those cameras that has amazing video quality coming out of it, but doesn't quite have the ability to be able to see yourself, having a monitor, especially one with things like false color, will really help you compose the shot and hit exposure. It's also great for studio filmers because let's say you're actually sitting on a chair with some of those same cameras. It'll let you see yourself from across the room, and again, on the cameras that don't have a flip screen, will let you blow yourself up a bit and see yourself, so you'll be able to get some of those great features as well as actually take advantage of the monitor you have. Also, in a studio setup, having the ability to power your camera and power this through a DC input allows you to plug everything in and just leave it for a while, which is pretty fantastic. It's also really good for people filming anything like cinematic video. If you're behind the camera and you're used to anything like a video village, being able to have a longer HDMI cable that puts the video away from the actual camera, or getting those features bigger and closer in your face, allows you to really nail exposure and nail focus on the shots that matter, especially for things like short films. So that's our overview of the ChromaCine V6. Honestly, it's a jam-packed with features monitor. You get a lot in the box, and it's really helpful for any type of features for pretty much every kind of shooter that's doing video. I highly recommend it, and I highly recommend you check it out. I'm Darren Tomke, again with Broadway Camera, BroadwayCamera.com. Check us out on all of our social media and at BroadwayCamera.com.